We've always heard that communication is the key, and that's absolutely right. The right communication is half your work done. Welcome to yet another episode of Impact Individuals with EQ Mint. Today we have with us our guest, Mr. Tejraj Singh Anand, who is an expert in communication and behavioral patterns. Mr. Tejraj Singh is an entrepreneurship development expert. To talk more about himself and the field, please welcome Mr. Tejraj Singh. Hello, Mr. Tejraj.
Hello Rashi, how are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you doing this morning?
Excellent.
Wonderful to have you on show. So, before we start the podcast, please tell us something about yourself. What inspired you to get into this particular field as well?
So, Rashi, I have been an entrepreneur for over 2 decades now, and approximately 15 years I've been networking. So, as Robert Kiyosaki said, your network is your net worth. While everybody wants to network, but the kind of results that they should be getting out of networking are not visible. And that's when I got to understand that networking has the potential to give a lot of business. However, we don't do it correctly, and hence we lose out on a lot of potential business that is going to come our way. So I said, this is one segment where I think people need guidance, and that's why I developed myself as a word of mouth marketing coach. And as my favorite author Simon Sinek says, if you are a businessman and your clients are people, your team is people, everybody around you are people. So if you don't understand people, do you even understand business?
That's wonderful. Yes.
So coming from there, I work on understanding people, and then everything else falls in place.
That sounds great. So, this market that you have, tried to bridge this gap between is a very niche sector. Can you give us, what inspired you to get into this?
So let me share with you a story that happened when I was in the 10th standard. As every 10th standard youth in his vacation goes to his father's business, so did I. I went there, and guess what? I shut down one business. The first day I went there, we took stock of the existing material, and the 2 months that I was there, we said, okay, existing stock plus manufactured minus the deliveries should be the closing stock. Simple maths, right? But the day I was to leave, last day, when I did this math, it didn't tally. So either my maths teacher taught me wrong, or the counting was haywire. Well, my maths teacher was absolutely correct. What I realized was that my father's partner was cheating my father. First business shut down. 12th standard happened. I again went to my father's office. Again shut down one more business. Here, my father was working with a partner, and what I noticed was work is happening. People are calling me for payments, which I'm to make, but no money is coming. And then I realized, holy cow. The other partner had opened another bank account, and the money was going there. So what I learned was, entrepreneurs want to grow. Growth is natural to an entrepreneur. But when you align with the wrong people, you don't grow, you lose. Coming from there, in networking, I again saw the alignment mismatch. And that's when I said, the key is to understand people and adapt in such a manner that we can create a win-win situation. That's where it all began.
That's wonderful, right? And like they say, life teaches you a lot.
It
right?
does. Benefit for me was my father paid the price for it. And I just made the price a little less costly, in fact.
Right. So, coming back to a word of mouth approach, right? Can you give us more detail on that?
You watched the movie Kantara when it came the first time? Now we have a sequel coming, right?
Right.
However, when the first Kantara came, it was not a big banner. It was not a big star cast. It was not bigly marketed. And guess what? The movie hit the screens, people watched it, and people told people about it. And Kantara became a super hit. That's word of mouth. We use word of mouth every time. If I were to buy a mobile phone, before buying, I would ask you, right? Hey Rashi, I'm looking for a mobile phone. Which one should I go for? We like to receive recommendations, and we also like to tell people. For example, if I had a wonderful meal last night, I would tell people, hey guys, go there for dinner. It's a lovely place. That's word of mouth.
Correct.
Now, when you use word of mouth as a tool, the cost is less, but then you need to understand people, build relationships, maintain relationships, build your credibility, and then guess what? Sit back and relax while the business keeps coming in.
Yes, absolutely. I think, once the word is spread through individuals, that means your business is growing,
Absolutely.
correct? So, if we compare to a traditional marketing tool versus a word of mouth tool, where do you see is the gap in this?
So in the traditional marketing, you have a triangle. Okay. On the top of the triangle is seeking that appointment. When you have the appointment, then you go and meet the client. You understand the client's needs, and then you pitch your product or solution. And now the base of the triangle, which is much longer, now you spend objection handling, negotiating, bulk of the time is spent there. That's the normal traditional sales model. It works good. Now let's look at the word of mouth marketing model. Let's invert the triangle. The base is on top now. The top is getting connected, inspiring people, building a trust and relationship, creating bonds, and building connection. Then, in this process, you're able to understand the need and present the solution. And now the smallest part at the below, the tip of the triangle, is closing the deal and picking up the check. Now the client wants to work with you because he knows you so well, or he's been told wonderful things about you that he's literally wanting to do business with you. So objection handling is reduced, negotiations are reduced, because when inspiration comes, you do not question price. I'll give you an example. How many people you know would stand in a queue when an iPhone is getting launched, pay 3 times the price, and still feel thankful? They stood in the queue, waited for hours, paid 3 times the price. They could have got a similar phone at 1/3 the price with maybe little better features from another brand. But they would wait for that iPhone to happen. That's inspiration. Price doesn't matter. When they want to work with a company, with an individual who's inspired you, price doesn't matter.
Right. And also, as adding on to what you said, there is also an emotional connect. Once you have, learned to trust a particular company or a business, then there's a lot of emotional connect that, then takes over the business from there.
You know that emotional connect also comes from this wonderful word called inspire.
Right.
I would like to share an example with your audience from the Indian freedom struggle. Do you think Mahatma Gandhi was the first freedom fighter?
No, absolutely not.
We had freedom fighters before him, right? It began with Mangal Pandey, then went to Rani Lakshmi Bai. We had that whole 1857 story. Then we had the Lal Bal Pals, the Trinity.
Right.
And then Gandhi comes on the scene. But let me ask you a question. Of all the people I have named, who made the biggest impact?
Of course, Gandhi.
Gandhi?
Yes.
So Gandhi made the biggest impact, and the people before him, they could not make the impact that he did. Now, let's look at it in this way. They were both dealing with the same product.
Right.
What was the product? Independence of the country. Right?
Correct.
But Gandhi created an impact. Now, Gandhi told his followers that, look, you got to fight peacefully, non-violently, and you got to come every day, sit on the dharna, sit on fast, get beaten up, go back home, come back tomorrow morning, again to get beaten up. That was the price they were paying. Till in the 1930s, we had another gentleman who comes on the scene, by the name Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, right?
Yes.
Now Netaji says, I also want same product, but I am slightly different. When Gandhi talks of non-violence, Netaji says, your enemy's enemy is my friend.
Correct.
Right? Now you see, Netaji and Gandhi have the same product, but the people who get attracted by both of them are different.
Right.
Somebody is inspired by Gandhi, he follows the Gandhi path. Somebody inspired by Netaji, he follows Netaji's path. People who follow Netaji's path, they don't tell Netaji. What did Netaji say? तुम मुझे खून दो, मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगा. Did anybody tell him, Dada, खून is expensive, re baba. If I give you khoon, then you give me azadi, I'm dead and gone, right? They paid the price. So here my bottom line is, when you are inspired, no price is too less. And people who are inspired by Bose, they paid the price. People inspired by Gandhi paid that price. Point here is not who is right, who is wrong. They are all respected people. I respect them from the bottom of my heart, but let's understand, their inspiration was different, the price was different, and each follower paid what inspired him.
That's a wonderful example that you have given, and it's an example that it strikes everybody, right?
Absolutely. The only point is, we need to understand that ultimately freedom for the nation was their product.
Correct.
So if we can overcome that barrier, then it all falls into place where we understand why were people inspired by Gandhi. Because he had a story, he had a purpose, he had a vision called Ram Rajya. We are even today trying to achieve that.
Right.
And he had a mission and he had core values and he lived by them. So did Bose. That there was different set of values and they lived by it. So to inspire people, you need to have these four things. You need to have a purpose, a vision, mission, core values, and you need to share it with people.
So we're talking about these core values, right? If we look at it from a founder's or an entrepreneur's perspective, so say, I have a young entrepreneur who's very excited to do this and he has his vision in place, mission in place, everything. But there is a gap of communication, right? So that person, say, is a young chap and, doesn't know what the road lies ahead of him, and he doesn't know how to approach people or, get into the market. What would be your, tip to him that, probably say all the young founders and entrepreneurs today need to keep these certain things in mind, because also keeping in mind that today the Gen Z speaks a completely different language, right? Which even millennials like me and the older ones like you are totally blank when they speak, right? So please give us a little insight on that.
So Rashi, let me ask you a simple question. I just told you in our conversation that vision, mission, inspire people, right? Now Rashi, be honest to me and share your honest opinion. When you go to a website, lot of those websites have vision, mission written. Yes?
Right, yes.
Did you feel inspired reading any one of them?
No, most of them are taken off the internet, right?
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
So A, is the founder clear about his vision, mission? I would like to examine that. Is he really clear about it? Or does he think it is like this? Or is it something that he picked up from somewhere? I'm sure as a lady you would understand this. Is it practically possible for a human to be born without the womb of the mother? Is it possible? Now, for me, that womb of the mother is the purpose. If an entrepreneur is clear about the purpose, then he works on his vision and mission. That's where I will say that his vision and mission has come out of the womb of the purpose, which is the mother. And in most of the websites that we see, point number one, whether the vision mission has been developed by the founder or the website person, I don't know.
Right.
Or ChatGPT, I still don't know further.
Yeah.
Or assuming this is what people think, I don't know that too. Right? Second, I know for sure it's not coming from the womb of the purpose. That's not inspirational. Did Gandhi begin with the story? I was in Durban barrister, they threw me out of the train, and I said, I will throw you out of my country. Powerful story, powerful purpose, and then the vision mission follows. So for the vision mission to be inspirational, the purpose is the most important thing. And most of the entrepreneurship development coaches, they don't begin with the purpose. They begin with the vision mission, which I feel it's like somebody else's baby and you've just adopted.
Right.
Doesn't work.
Correct.
So the vision mission has to come out of the womb of the purpose. So I always tell people that we've always heard that proverb which says 2 dates are important. The day you were born and the day you find out why. So the day you find out why is your purpose.
Correct.
So my suggestion
yeah.
to a startup founder would be, before vision mission, young man, let's look at your purpose, then vision mission, then core values, then you will be able to live to your core values. Otherwise, it's very simple to have core values which you're not living by. Almost every brand will say we are customer friendly. Almost every brand will say customer satisfaction. And then when you see a list of complaints, you say, kahan hai customer satisfaction?
Correct, absolutely.
So that's where I would begin.
So coming back to communication and behavior, how are these, related to each other? Can you give us a little insight on that?
I'll give you an example. So, according to me, there are 4 distinctive behavioral styles. And a lot of people in HR follow these 4 as DISC. D stands for dominant, I stands for influential, S stands for stable, and C for compliant. Broadly, these are the 4 styles. Now, because these words are negative by nature, dominant, negative term, I use birds language. So people ask me why birds. So I tell them, what's the full form of birds? Behavior, inspires, relationships, dynamics, and success. That's birds. So the 4 words I use are eagle for the D, parrot for the I, dove for the S, and owl for the compliant, the C. And there is one statutory warning. Please don't refer an owl in Hindi. Now, when you're able to recognize what is the dominant style of these 4 in an individual, so the first step, Rashi, when I meet somebody is to understand that person. And when I understand what is his or her dominant style, then I know how to communicate to this person. Now, normally people communicate to everybody the way they are, right?
Right.
And everybody is not like me.
Correct.
So when I'm communicating to somebody who is like me, we become good friends. But if I'm communicating to somebody who's not like me, that relationship doesn't go well. But if I recognize people, and now my communication is not as per my style, but as per their style, then I will get along well with everybody.
Right.
So the key principle is communication depends on the listener. I can communicate whatever I want, but the quality depends on what the listener understands. And the listener understands depending on his or her style. So first recognize that and then communicate in a manner as to make the other person comfortable. That's the key point in effective communication.
Makes sense. Like, it's a lot to do with how you perceive what has been told to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming to your workshops, you conduct workshops called People Styles Workshop. Can you give us more details about that?
In a People Styles workshop, what I do is I follow 3 steps. The first part of the workshop is where I help you understand and recognize what is your dominant style. So as I said, there are 4 styles: eagle, parrot, dove, and owl. When it comes to the whole world, 85% of the people are a combination of 2 dominant styles. Okay? And the rest 15% are either one style super dominant, or a balance of all 4 styles, or 3 styles dominant, So that's 15%. But the major bulk is 85% of the people who are a combination of two styles. So in these two styles, if I look at one particular style, then 36 to 37% are people who are either parrots or doves. Okay? So majority of the world in terms of 73% is either parrot or dove. And the 27% you will find approximately 18 to 19% eagles and the balance 7-8% owls. Right? Now, when I recognize that I am X style, maybe I'm a parrot, my way of communicating will be different. But when I'm meeting an owl, I will not communicate to him the way I communicate to parrots. I will communicate to him the way I communicate to an owl. Right. An owl is detail oriented. Okay. He's not very flashy. Right. He or she is pretty reserved. He talks less. Not because he doesn't have things to talk about, but he's busy getting the work done. Right. An owl is someone for whom well done is better than well said. But a parrot, on the other hand, is all about well said and let's not talk about doing it. Right? Right? So that's how I would communicate. If I'm meeting a parrot, we'll make grand plans. We'll plan a trip down to Australia. We'll talk all over the world. But with an owl, I'll be focused on work. I'll be less flashy. I will ask him what needs to be done to become more efficient. Because an owl is more concerned with improving efficiency and a parrot is more concerned with having fun. Right. An eagle is more concerned with results. An eagle wants to know what is in it for me. ये काम करने से मुझे कितना profit होगा, profit in terms of money. And a dove is more about caring. Right. A dove is that friend of yours whom you could call up at 12 a.m. and talk for 2 hours, unburdening your story. And the person will listen. That's a dove. If I were to talk like that to a friend of mine who's an eagle, the phone call will be down in 5 minutes. 5 minutes is also too much. Right. That's the difference. So I help them recognize who they are. That shows them what are their inherent weaknesses. Then I help them recognize other people. So now they know, okay, that I'm an eagle and I'm meeting an owl. This is how I need to communicate to an owl. Right. Or I'm a parrot, I'm meeting a dove. This is how I need to communicate to a dove. So the choice is in my hands, how to communicate. But the operative part is to first understand myself, recognize the other person, and in order to pay respect to him, behave with him as he wants me to behave.
So it has a lot to do with looking and understanding your own personality as well as the
recognizing the other person's personality.
Right. So coming back to this point, like you said, there needs to be a lot of inspiration, proper understanding of behavior. So there are a lot of people today who want to do a lot of things in life. They have the कि मुझे entrepreneur बनना है या मुझे food startup करना है XYZ, but then they are all over the place. They don't know how to get there. How does your workshop in such a situation help them?
I read a story on Instagram today. Spoke about this girl who was waiting for a cab to come. The cab came. The cab driver was planning not to take this booking. Something made him take that booking and he took the booking. When he reached and picked up the lady, she was quite in tears and they drove for some time in silence and he just asked her a question, how long have you been here? And she said, I'm done with this place. I'm leaving. Okay. I came here to become a musician. Okay. Since when have you been practicing music? Since a child. Okay. And why are you leaving? It's not working out. Why don't you give yourself some more time? I'm done. I don't have the rent to pay. I'm out. And when the cab driver drops her, he says, this is the little money that I have. I hope this will help you last for a few days. Don't throw the towel on yourself. And in the drive, she played some music for him. And he said, the day you're playing in a big concert, let me know. I'll be driving the car and listening to your concert on radio. Within 6 months, this man got an invitation, first row seat, to watch her play. How does this happen? When your purpose is strong, you don't give up.
Right.
So a lot of people start businesses. They want to start restaurants. They want to become food bloggers. They want to become travels. Tell me, how many of them shut shop?
Most of them.
Why are they shutting shop? Because that purpose is not strong enough.
Right.
They tried. Challenges were stronger than them. But if your purpose is strong, you'll say, the challenges are strong, but my purpose is stronger.
Right.
You will not pull the plug on your dreams. So before you go to dreams, let's go to purpose. Let's find out the purpose and use the purpose to define your vision. We've not yet reached dream. People first reach the dream.
Right.
So no. Let's look at your purpose. Let's understand it better. Let's create your vision. Now quantify your vision by having dreams and goals, because you know measure. And then wherever you are today to wherever you want to go, please develop the mission. How are you going to do that? And then start working. So if you begin without this basic groundwork, then the smallest challenge will scare you. And I love that spiritual line which says, don't tell God your problems are big. Tell problems your God is big. And you know what? Your God is the purpose.
Right.
So tell problems, my purpose is too big, you can't defeat it. That's what Gandhi did. That's what Bose did. That's what they kept on doing till
Right.
they reached where they wanted to reach.
Talking about these leaders, right? You've given references to a lot of leaders. Can you just give me, say, probably 2 or 3 behavioral patterns or, communication patterns that you have observed in top level management and executives or people who have reached a milestone in life where people are looking up to them? Is there some similarity among all of these people?
Let's look at Ratan Tata. Ratan Tata is a high dove owl. Okay. Now look at the function of the group. The Tatas had labor-friendly policies even before independence. When nobody heard of PF, ESIC, the Tatas were doing it in their company. These are people who care. Doves are people who care. Owls are people who have high ethics. You won't find a Tata company doing something and taking the easier part. The phrase I would use is, मुझे ये काम करना है by hook or by crook.
Right.
No, that Tata company will never say by crook.
Right.
They will always do it the right manner. So you see, and even before Ratan Tata, these behavioral styles were there in almost all of them. Right? So Ratan Tata did not begin PFESIC. It began when the earlier Tatas were there,
Right.
with GRD and even before GRD. So that's where you see the group is a high owl dove group. Okay. Let's look at the Ambanis. The Ambanis are a high eagle owl group. What's in it for me? I'll enter the business if the profit is huge. I'm willing to buy out a company if the profit is huge. I'm going to do anything to make profit. This won't be the communication of a Tata group,
Right.
but that'll be the communication of a Reliance group. Profit at all cost. So you see, they are the eagle owls. Look at the Adani group. It's again an eagle owl group. And if I were to compare the Adanis and the Ambanis, I would say neck to neck, they are both high eagles. Probably Adani is slightly bigger of an eagle,
Okay.
but pretty high eagles. If you want to look at doves, at parrots, notorious name but can't help it, which Himalaya.
Right.
A parrot to the core. It's all about fun. I don't care where the money comes. I don't care where the money goes. As long as I'm having,
Live life king size comes from him.
absolutely,
Right?
live life king size. Yeah. And he's still living king size at our
Absolutely.
cost. That's a different matter. But I'm not saying parrots are crooks. No. So I would say Malia would be something like a parrot eagle. Because it's an eagle who will do at all cost. Parrot is in it for the fun.
Right.
Okay. So that covers the major styles in terms of corporates.
Right.
If you want to look at the film industry, look at people like Guru Dutt, Sanjay Leela Bhansali, Amir Khan. Owls to the core. If the scene is not good, damn it, it's not good. You got to reshoot 100 times, do it.
Right.
It's got to be perfect. These three people are all about perfection. Who the hell remembers a super hit movie 25 years after it was been super hit and says, wo movie mein ye galti hua tha? But an owl. Recently, Amir Khan mentioned that Sarfarosh was a very good movie, but my hair was long because I was doing a couple of other projects as well. Right? Who the hell remembers a super hit movie's mistake 20 years afterwards? That's an owl for you.
Right.
An owl decides what is perfect. We can keep telling the owl, sir, perfect kaam tha. But no, for an owl, he decides.
So convincing an owl is equally difficult that, to go against, say, as you said, he decides what's perfect.
Absolutely.
For me to, convince an owl that this is perfect is a big task. For me,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. And that's what you find in Amir Khan and San. That's why they do one project.
Right.
They can't do multiple projects. They're just focused on it. Look at Sanjay Leela Bhansali. It takes years to complete a project.
Right.
It's not like other people who churn out 4 projects in a year.
And of course, the results we see are amazing.
Larger than life.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's where you are. Or you will find people like Akshay Kumar, Eagles. It's all about, let me shoot the movie, let me make this money, let's go on. Let me do this ad, let me make this money, let's go on. Like Akshay mentions in a Coffee with Karan show, paise kama, right?
Right.
He says it's all about making money.
Right.
So that's where you are. That's what the difference is. So yes, Akshay will make more money than Amir, but Amir will be more leaning towards perfection.
Right, absolutely. It also has a lot of, it to do with what exactly is it that you want, right? Some people want money, some people want good work, some people want perfection, right?
Yeah, so like I said, the eagles want money, parrots want to have fun, the dove wants to be a caring, patient listener. तुम्हारे हर problem मेरे problem. And the owl, he wants to work perfectly.
So, Mr. Anand, let's get to a round of quick rapid fire. You've spoken about 4 personality traits, right? So, I'll give you a few options. Please, tell me which personality or behavioral pattern would choose which word, right? So, the first one would be empathy or strategy.
The dove will go for empathy and the owl will go for strategy.
Okay. Listening or speaking?
The dove will go for listening, the parrot will go for speaking.
Sales or marketing?
The eagle will go for sales, the owl will go for marketing.
Okay. Logic or emotion?
The parrot will go for emotions, the dove will go for emotions. Though there will be a difference, the parrot will be the happy emotions, the dove will be the Rona Dhona wala Nirupa Roy type emotions. And the second one was logic. It's hands down the owl. For the eagle, there's only one logic. Make money.
Right.
Yeah. So logic is owl.
when it comes to meetings, like in person versus a video call or versus just dropping in a mail?
In person is parrot. Video call will be okay for an owl. Will be okay for an eagle if the eagle is busy. And if that video call is for his फायदा,
Right.
right? If it is the सामने वाला का फायदा, he'll say फिर कभी कर लेंगे.
Right.
Mail, owl. Owl is an email person. Let me tell you something. The owl may not check WhatsApp, but email, bang on.
Right. So those are the people who are on holidays, but yet, hooked onto their mails probably.
I wouldn't say that. The owl, when he's on a holiday, which doesn't happen very often, but when it happens, his mail will have that signature saying,
Out of
I am
office.
out of office. Okay, so
Right.
he'll be very particular about the fact that people know. The parrot will go for a vacation, they can figure it out. He doesn't have to bother to put that line. He said, you figure it out. That's your problem. But the owl will make sure it's all figured out.
Right. And long-term client versus high-ticket client.
All four are possible. It all depends on how the sales person handles them. But high ticket, because the eagle is more focused on profit, results, eagle. But eagle can also be a long-term client as long as the eagle has a benefit in continuing that relationship, right? So it both could be there for an eagle. For an owl, it's more of the long-term, provided it is a strategic fit, provided I'm adding value. Okay, owl high ticket. See, owl is very value conscious. So I cannot sell something which is worth 100 rupees for 1000 rupees to an owl who is value conscious. He knows what he's buying. He knows what he needs. He is gonna stick to his budget. So you won't find a rash buying decision with an owl. Parrot, high ticket, long term as long as he's having fun. Okay. Dove, again, tickets may not be very high, but Dove is always a long term person.
Right.
Before selling to a dove, I need to build relationship. If I try to sell to a dove without building relationship, the sale won't happen.
Right. Observation or experience?
Observation or experience, both would go with an owl. Because an owl is observant and an owl also carries a lot of experience.
Okay.
Both would go with an owl.
Teaching or learning?
The eagle and the parrot both will love teaching because the parrot just wants to talk. The second was learning. Owl, but the difference is owl's learning will be followed with implementation. He will not just learn for the heck of it.
Right.
Because for an owl, when he's learning, more than the cost of the program is the cost of his time. If he's given time to a program, he will implement.
Communication or technical skills?
Communication is the parrot's forte. Technical skills are the owl's forte.
And lastly would be a coffee meeting or a walk meeting?
Both to do with an dove and parrot.
Wonderful. That was a wonderful rapid fire.
Where's my coffee hamper?
You will get it for sure. Okay, coming back to this, you spoke about how personalities, what would they prefer? Say, if you're looking at it from a company's point of view and we are hiring individuals, right? So every division, what are the kind of personality traits that, our founders can look at when they are hiring new, employees?
So again, Rashi, it begins with understanding yourself. So generally, if you look at a company, people hire people who are like them, right? Because they begin to like that person and they hire that person.
Right.
Now, when your staff is similar to you, that means your weaknesses are similar to each other.
Correct.
Your strengths are similar to each other. So there's duplication.
Right.
So the key is first to understand yourself. That helps you understand your weaknesses. Now hire to fill the gaps.
Right.
We look at gap in marketing and sales. This is a gap in operations. If everybody is a parrot, everybody wants to have fun. Nobody's focusing on execution.
Right.
If everybody's an owl, everybody's focusing on strategy, planning, perfection. अरे delivery तो करनी है ना.
Correct.
right? You got to have an eagle in the picture.
Right.
Got to take a decision. They are decisive. So you need all four in a team, in a company, and being biased towards any one is gonna lead to long-term issues. And the beginning point is always to understand yourself, and then hire some people like you, hire some people not like you. For example, if I were to hire someone for accounts department and a parrot applied,
It would.
never.
Right.
But if an owl applied, I would hire.
Correct.
If I wanted to hire someone for the marketing department where we have a lot of parties being thrown about, owl is no. Because if I tell the owl Christmas party is to be thrown on 25th December 2025, it will get thrown. But in 2026. Because then owl will plan. So if it's someone with the party around, get in a parrot, he'll take care of it. So you need a combination.
Okay. Wonderful. Before we end today's podcast, sir, do you have any message for our young founders and entrepreneurs?
I think the bottom line is clear. Have a purpose, create your vision, product will follow. Today people are focusing on product. And that's where I feel you get lost because it's your perception. If you are following your purpose, not the gap in the market. Okay? People want to follow the gap in the market. Follow what is your purpose. Either you'll be too ahead of your times, in which you'll create a masterpiece.
Right.
We remember that movie of Raj Kapoor, Mera Naam Joker. It did not do well when it was first released because it's too ahead of its time.
Right.
And after that, it has been a blockbuster every time it has come out. And it's actually a masterpiece. So if you're following your purpose, you'll be able to create a masterpiece. You'll be able to stick with your idea. A lot of the times the going is not good and you're under challenges. I was just reading this story of the third founder of Apple. You know, Apple had 3 founders.
No.
The third of them, I don't recollect his name now, he sold 10% of his stake in Apple for $800. Why? Because of the 3 partners, which Steve Jobs was one and this was the third guy, he was the only person who had an income. They were all college students. So he thought, if tomorrow there's a liability, it's going to come on me, right? So that tension of that liability made him sell, get out for $800 and plus some additional $1,200, $1,300, maybe $2,300, $2,400 were what he got. And then look at the worth of Apple today. When you're following your purpose, you will stick with it through thick and thin. Remember, it's your idea. Like, you don't quit on your baby, come what may. Don't quit on your idea. Provided it's your baby, provided your idea is coming from your purpose, which takes me back to the womb story, that the purpose is the womb of your product or your service and your vision and your mission. If you've got that right, you'll stick with it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for such an insightful episode, Mr. Anand. It was lovely having you on the show
Thank you so
today.
much.
And thank you to our viewers for being with us today. Until next time, have a purpose, be insightful, and be charged up. Thank you.